Let's check in with my colleague Molemo Mothoa, and she is in Hammanskraal, I do believe. Molemo, you were in Hammanskraal yesterday too. Just talk to us about how different then is voting stations there compared to what you experienced yesterday.
Good afternoon indeed. Well, we are on the second day of the special voting, but today we visited Ga-Rankuwa and we are at the Itireleng Center, which previously was known as the Itireleng Center for the Blind, a center which provides skills development for people living with disabilities. And as you would recall that according to the stats SA, about 7.5% of the population are people living with disabilities. But we just want to hear from some of them about what these elections mean for them. Of course, yesterday the elections, the voting actually in the most parts of Pretoria progressed well, except that there were a few glitches here and there. But just to now hear from some of them here, I'm going to be now talking to this gentleman here about what these year's elections mean for them as people living with disabilities.
I think it's very good to vote for people living with disabilities so that we can be well catered for. And also when it comes to the institutions that we live in as people living with disabilities, so that also the institutions can be catered for people living with disabilities. And also what I would love to say is that encourage people living with disabilities to vote, and so that we can have the best catering when it comes to people living with disabilities.
Ke eng se sentseng o bona gore se a tlhaela go batho ba ileng gore ba jaaka wena?
I think that also we are not catered for. I feel that as people living with disabilities, we are not catered for. Just like when it comes to the way we live. When it comes to the disability grant monies, I feel that if they can do better and just to raise it so that people can have something to live with, and also create jobs for the people living with disabilities.
What would be your message to those that still feel like it's not really worth it, participating in this program?
What I would like to say is that to encourage them to try and participate and go and vote and see what's going to happen. And also to say that let's not depend on one party, but let's try other parties also and see what they can do.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I'm now going to be joined by Faith Mhlanga, who is the head of this center. Ma'am Mhlanga, the second day of the special votes, how is the progress here?
Ma'am, unlike other years, the progress is very slow, but IEC has done everything in its power over the year to prepare very well, because they've been coming to the institution and to the community to prepare the people, but I'm also saying I'm grateful to IEC for all the preparations that they took, to prepare our clients. And they have been well prepared. They are aware of what it means to vote, what it means for them as their right, and also the processes that goes into voting.
This center was previously known as the Center for the Blind, and we understand that it's now catering for people living with disabilities. Can you just a bit take us through, of some of the challenges that you've had to, deal with?
Okay. Previously, yes, it was only catering for the blind. However, due to the limited numbers of people that were coming in, if you see this community around here in Zone 2, it is a community that was developed with the blind in mind. So when they were here, we felt that there's a lot of dependency on the state and also issues of double dipping. Because now you had SASSA, which was issuing grants, and then there was housing, and then there was a salary that was received, and then they also received free meals out of, they were catered for in the government budget also. And they then, with issues of normality or normalization, the department felt that the people who were here could still receive their services. However, we had to teach them the issue of normalization and independence. So that is why now most of the blind people, when you see them, they are in this community, they are there, they are living a normal life, just like any other abled person.
Thank you so much for your time. That is Faith Mhlanga, who is the head of this center here. And of course, the number of the people that, have been registered for special votes here, making or rather being part of the more than 300,000 that are taking part in Gauteng, or those that have been registered for special votes in Gauteng. And that's back to the studio.